Here we are, folks, standing at the threshold of another European winter, a season that always seems to arrive with a sense of mystery and anticipation. As the days grow shorter and the air turns crisp, we find ourselves wondering, what kind of winter lies ahead for Europe this year? The big question on everyone's mind: will this winter be a gentle, rainy affair, or are we bracing for a deep freeze that could bring daily life to a standstill? The answer matters more than you might think. It's not just idle conversation. These weather patterns shape our daily routines, from how we heat our homes to how we get to work, and even what we find on supermarket shelves. A harsh winter can send heating bills soaring, disrupt travel plans, and put extra strain on food supplies and prices. Every snowflake and raindrop has a ripple effect on our lives. Predicting an entire season is one of the greatest challenges in meteorology. But today, we have more advanced tools than ever before: satellites, computer models, and a global network of experts working around the clock. At the heart of this effort is the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, or ECMWF. This institution is widely regarded as the gold standard for long-range weather predictions, trusted by governments and scientists across the continent. Their supercomputers process mountains of data every day: temperature readings, wind patterns, ocean currents, to create the most accurate scenarios possible for the months ahead. This year, the global setup is especially fascinating. A strong La Niña event in the Pacific is unfolding, and its influence could send shockwaves through Europe's weather, altering storm tracks and temperature patterns in unexpected ways. Will La Niña fuel relentless Atlantic storms battering the coasts? Or will it open the door for icy Siberian air to sweep across the continent, bringing bitter cold and snow? The stakes are higher than ever. With energy prices already elevated and power grids under pressure, the type of winter we get could have real consequences for millions of people. That's why we're breaking down the forecast region by region, so you'll know what to expect whether you're in the north, south, east, or west of Europe. This isn't just about numbers and charts. It's about how the coming winter will impact your daily life, your family, and your community. The winter of 2025 to 2026 is fast approaching, and we're here to help you get ready for whatever comes your way. So let's dive deep into the science, explore the risks, and break down what you need to know to stay safe and prepared this season. Ready to unravel Europe's winter riddle? Let's get into it. Stay tuned for the full forecast and expert insights. Let's get straight to the main event, Europe's first detailed outlook for the winter of 2025 to 2026, courtesy of the ECMWF, one of the world's most trusted weather models. Every year, millions rely on these forecasts to plan everything from travel to energy use, and this year's first look is already turning heads. So what exactly is the ECMWF model showing for the upcoming winter? Let's break it down. The headline is clear: a winter of contrasts is on the horizon, with big swings in both temperature and precipitation across the continent. Early winter, December and early January, looks to be milder and wetter than average for much of Western and Southern Europe. Expect more rain than snow in many places, and temperatures that could feel more like autumn than true winter. But don't get too comfortable. These mild conditions might lull people into thinking winter will be easy this year. The second half of winter, from late January onward, could see a dramatic pattern shift, with the potential for much colder and stormier weather to take hold. The models are hinting at a weakening jet stream, which often acts as a barrier between cold and warm air masses. Alongside this, there's the rise of blocking high-pressure systems, a classic setup for a deep freeze where cold air can settle in and linger for weeks. This means we could be looking at a tale of two winters: a mild, wet start, followed by a potential cold snap that could catch everyone off guard and bring significant impacts to daily life. To capture all the possible outcomes, the ECMWF runs its model 51 times, creating a range of scenarios from mild to severe. While the average of these runs points to a mild start and a cold finish, there's a lot of variation. Some runs even show a cold winter from start to finish, especially in northern and eastern Europe. In these scenarios, snow and ice could arrive early and stick around, causing travel disruptions and energy demand spikes. The takeaway: high uncertainty, but also high potential for impactful weather. This is not a winter to ignore. It's shaping up to be a battle between the mild, wet Atlantic influence and the frigid, dry air from the continent. And as of now, the winner is still undecided. Stay alert and keep checking for updates as winter approaches. To truly grasp why this winter is shaping up to be so unpredictable, we need to dig into two of the most influential climate drivers on the planet, La Niña and the North Atlantic Oscillation, or NAO. These powerful forces act like the gears and levers behind the scenes, setting the stage for the weather we experience across Europe and beyond. La Niña is a recurring climate pattern that cools the surface waters of the eastern Pacific Ocean. This cooling doesn't just stay local, it ripples outward, shifting global weather patterns in significant ways. When La Niña is active, it tends to disrupt the usual flow of the atmosphere, increasing the odds of blocked, stubborn weather systems over Europe that can linger for weeks. The result? Some regions can be battered by relentless storms and heavy rainfall, while others may find themselves stuck in a deep freeze or enduring long stretches of dry, cold weather. The impacts are rarely uniform, making forecasting a real challenge. But La Niña isn't acting alone. The North Atlantic Oscillation, or NAO, is the heavyweight champion when it comes to shaping European winters. When the NAO is in its positive phase, it acts like an open door, letting in mild, wet Atlantic air that sweeps across northern and western Europe. This often means gray skies, frequent rain, and above-average temperatures for cities like London, Paris, and Amsterdam. But when the NAO flips to its negative phase, everything changes. The jet stream weakens and meanders, high-pressure blocks form, and suddenly frigid Arctic air can plunge deep into the continent, bringing snow, ice, and bitter cold to areas that were mild just weeks before. According to the latest guidance from the ECMWF, Europe's leading weather model, there's a strong possibility that we'll see a shift from a positive to a negative NAO as winter progresses. This transition could be the trigger for a dramatic change in weather patterns. That's the mechanism behind what meteorologists call a back-loaded winter, where the early months are relatively mild, but the real winter punch arrives later, with cold snaps and snowstorms dominating the second half of the season. The ongoing interplay between La Niña in the Pacific and the NAO over the Atlantic is like a complex dance, with each move influencing the next. Together, they will shape the story of this winter across Europe. So keep an eye on the NAO's status. Its flip from positive to negative could be the key moment that determines whether Europe faces a mild winter or a deep freeze. These global climate forces are the true puppet masters of our weather, pulling the strings that decide whether we get rain, snow, or sunshine. Understanding how they work isn't just for scientists, it's crucial for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the weather, plan travel, or simply know what to expect in the weeks ahead. Now let's dive deeper and see how these powerful climate drivers might play out in the coming months, and what that could mean for you. Now let's talk about the wildcard sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. High above, the polar vortex spins over the Arctic, locking in the cold. But sometimes, atmospheric waves disrupt it, causing the stratosphere to warm rapidly. When this happens, the polar vortex can collapse, unleashing Arctic air southward. The effects take a couple of weeks to reach the surface, but when they do, Europe can plunge into a deep freeze. SSWs are unpredictable, but La Niña can make the vortex more vulnerable. The ECMWF sees a higher risk of blocking highs later in winter, a sign SSW could strike. Even a mild start can flip to a brutal cold snap if SSW hits. It's the ultimate wildcard. Watch for it in January or February. One event can change the entire season. Let's zoom in on Western Europe, UK, Ireland, France, and the Benelux. Early winter, the Atlantic dominates, bringing mild, wet, and windy weather. Flooding risks rise as rain saturates the ground and snow stays in the highlands. But the second half could flip the script. If a blocking high forms near Greenland, cold air from the north or east could sweep in. Suddenly, places like London and Paris could see significant cold and snow. This rapid shift can disrupt transport and strain energy supplies. The message: enjoy the mild start, but don't be complacent. The real winter bite may come late and hit hard. Stay vigilant for sudden changes. Western Europe's winter will be anything but boring. Now to Central and Eastern Europe, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, and beyond. This is winter's true battleground, caught between Atlantic influence and Siberian cold. Early winter could bring wild swings, mild and wet in the west, cold and snowy further east. Dangerous freezing rain is possible where these air masses collide. But the real threat comes later. If the Atlantic is blocked, Siberian air can pour in, bringing a deep, prolonged freeze. Expect heavy snow and sub-zero temperatures for days or weeks. Energy demand will soar and infrastructure will be tested. This region is used to cold, but a severe end to winter could push limits. Prepare for a harsh finish. Let's head south to the Mediterranean, Spain, Italy, Greece, and the Balkans. Early winter, a strong Atlantic jet stream pushes the storm track south, bringing more rain and storms than usual. Medicanes and heavy rainfall could trigger flash floods and landslides, especially in mountainous areas. This is good news for drought relief, but also raises severe weather risks. As winter progresses, cold air from the north could clash with warm Mediterranean air, fueling more storms and even heavy snow in the Balkans and Greece. Spain and Portugal may see drier spells if the Atlantic block sets up, but could also be in the storm path. The key: expect an active, wet, and stormy winter, especially early on. Widespread cold is less likely, but heavy precipitation is a real risk. The Mediterranean will be dynamic. Stay prepared. Watch for rapid changes. Now to Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, where winter is a way of life. Early winter looks milder and wetter, especially along the Norwegian coast. Inland and further north expect more snow than rain, building a solid snowpack. As the pattern shifts, Scandinavia could become the source of Europe's cold. Blocking highs can bring clear skies and deep freezes, with temperatures plunging below -20 or even 30 Celsius. Residents are well prepared, but the late-season cold will be intense. The northern lights could put on a show with clear, frigid nights. Scandinavia will see both Atlantic-driven storms and classic deep cold. The true winter may arrive late, but it will be memorable. For the north, it's a season of two halves. So, there you have it, a continent facing a winter of contrasts. From mild, wet beginnings to the risk of a deep freeze, Europe's winter will be shaped by La Niña, the NAO, and the wild card of sudden stratospheric warming. The ECMWF's forecast is built on world-class science and supercomputers, not guesswork. But remember, seasonal forecasts show trends, not day-by-day predictions. Surprises are always possible, so stay updated with short-range forecasts. The key message: be prepared, not worried. Check your insulation, winter tires, and emergency supplies. Governments and industries should review energy and transport plans now. This winter could test our resilience, but knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll get through it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.